How you guys doing? Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector. And I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. This is a big video. Why? Because I have a very large box of CGC comics sitting next to me, and we are going to go through it. This is a day that I've been waiting on for quite some time. I actually sent in this order of CGC books. I don't even know when. It was a while ago, and I had the books cleaned and pressed, and then had to have them graded after that. And anyone that has sent books in know that this process takes some time, but today is the day when it actually arrived. And in fact, if you follow me on my Instagram at REGIECOLLECTS, you probably saw the box earlier today in my story, because I had it delivered to my job. Because my wife wasn't going to be home today, so I had it delivered to the job. It arrived, and I actually cracked it open at work. I couldn't help it but dug into it. But I am happy to present to you guys today the 25 books that I just got in. I'm one of those guys, again, that if I get something new, I've got to peek at it. I know a lot of guys submit things to CGC and they actually don't look at the grades until the books arrive, and that's just, I'm not that guy. So I learned a lot with this submission. I learned a lot from the last submission. If you watch my last video, there was 20 books that I sent in that I had graded and sent back to me I think last week. I didn't have those books cleaned and pressed. The grades to some degree kind of reflected that. And again, learning from that first experience, I knew to have these books cleaned and pressed. And I think the grades kind of reflect that. I think out of 25 books, 18 of them are in the 9s. Now, there's a big difference between this shipment and the last shipment. There are more modern books in this shipment than the last, so that's part of the reason. But again, I think the cleaning, the pressing, and the selection process, I think, helped with this. And what I mean by selection process is I was a little bit more selective in what I decided to send in. I actually took the time to inspect the books, the front, the back, and kind of flip through some of the pages before deciding to send it in for grading. I did not do that the first time around. I was like, I saw the book, it looked good, I sent it in. And so it's been a huge learning for me as I've continued to kind of submit these books. And I was talking to Thanatos earlier today, and was having some discussion with him about what my next submission might look like. And I haven't quite decided. But maybe I'll talk about that at the end, because I know you guys want to see the books. And again, there's 25 of them, so you're going to have to bear with me, because this could be somewhat of a long video. So first book up, and I'm just going to show you these as I pull them out of the box. So the first one is Uncanny X-Men 282. It is the first appearance of Bishop, and it is a 9/4, and it is a really nice 9/4. I actually did not have this book from my childhood. I actually had 281 and 283. I guess the week that this book came out, I wasn't able to make it to the shop because I certainly didn't have it in my collection, but I went out and purchased it. I think I got it off of eBay for a relatively good price, but I wanted to make sure that I had that because I am a Bishop fan, and so I wanted to make sure that I kind of had that book. The next up is Amazing Spider-Man 794. This is part of the Threat Level Red story arc that led into the Red Goblin. And so this came back at a 9.8. And it's a really nice book. I think I have maybe 3 copies of this, and this was the nicer of the 3 copies. So I went ahead, and again, I think that selection criteria that I went through kind of paid off, because that's a pretty solid grade. Oh, speaking of that, here's another one. This one is a 9.6. And of course, white pages with these, to be expected for a modern book. This one is Infinity Countdown, Adam Warlock #1. This is a 9.8. Is this a variant? No, I thought this was. Wait a minute, is it? No, I thought this was a variant. But this is Infinity Countdown. Pretty nice cover though. I think there are two types of presses that you can do with CGC. I did the lesser of the two. Again, a lot of these books were relatively modern, were in pretty good condition when I selected them and sent them in. So I did not do, the more involved press. So here's another one, 9.8 as well. Oh, this is a cool book. This is a cool one. New Mutants, 87. It is the first appearance of Cable. And it came in as a 9.4. So I sat down recently and I read this book, and I read it digitally, and I kind of struggled with it. This is one of those books, and I want to read it again before I make this statement, but I struggled through the story. Maybe it was because I was reading it at bedtime, whatever it was. But this wasn't one that I really enjoyed, and so I need to read it again to see maybe if maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I didn't fully appreciate the storyline. So I want to try it one more time and see where I land with that one, because that could easily be one of those books that could be considered overrated, right? In the sense that it's worth a lot, but it's it's because of the first appearance, but not because it's an awesome story, So I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to offend anyone if that's like their favorite book or something like that. So next up, Amazing Spider-Man 361. This is the first full appearance of Carnage, and it came back at as a 9.6. It's a really, really nice copy of this book. And again, of course, white pages with this one. And this one is Mark Bagley. I am a huge fan of Mark Bagley. I like how he draws Spider-Man. And in fact, I have some Amazing Spider-Man from this whole time frame, the Mark Bagley run, where I had these books signed by him. And the funny thing is, and I had it done when I was a kid, I actually do not remember going to get the signature from him. I don't remember what he looks like. I don't remember the con or whatever it was. I actually didn't go to many cons when I was younger, which is surprising that I don't even remember. But I have quite a few books that are signed by Mark Bagley, and I have always liked how he drew Spider-Man. Here is Amazing Spider-Man 795. This is when Norman joins with the Carnage symbiote, and this is 795, and it is a 9.6. And again, this is one of those books I think I have 3 or 4 copies of this issue, but it's a really, really nice cover. This is the one that I actually bought off of eBay, and the guy basically said it was a near mint. No, he said it was a mint book, and there is actually a spec that is that breaks the color on the spine of the book, and I was able to get a couple of bucks back on that because of that. He said the book was essentially perfect and had no imperfections, and as soon as I took it out of the packaging, I saw the imperfection. Couldn't see anything but the imperfection. So here's a cool book. This is Punisher #1, white pages, 9.2, and this is, I think, his regular series. I think that's the regular series. I really like that cover. I really don't know why he needs a bazooka to shoot it into an apartment, but he's got a bazooka. I actually picked up this book from a guy who was selling a couple of books here locally, and I met him, went through his collection, picked out some really, really awesome books, and I think he's still trying to sell his collection to this day because I took the best stuff out of the collection, but he is still trying to sell it 4 months after I paid him a visit. So I think it definitely worked out in my favor that I didn't purchase the whole collection, because I would have been stuck with a lot of books I didn't necessarily need. Next up, Black Bolt #1. I picked up this book not because of the first appearance, but because it is a Kirby 100 birthday, and it's just really cool art. I've been doing a little bit of research on Kirby as of late, and one character that I like that he draws really well, I think, is the Thing. Not a huge fan of the Thing, but I like when Kirby draws the Thing. And of course, he didn't. I don't think he did this, but it's in that spirit of his style. But yeah, this is the Kirby variant cover. Really, really nice book. Again, because I kind of like Kirby style. I have now almost two full runs of the externals, and I just kind of like his style. For certain characters, he does them really, really well. This one's actually from my childhood. I've had this book for a very, very long time. And I remember when I bought it as a kid, I thought it was the most expensive book I would ever own. It is Web of Spider-Man #1, and it's an 8.5, but just a really nice cover of Spidey in his black costume. Really nice book. I love this book. Love, love, love that one. And next up, this is a Infinity Countdown Prime #1. This is the variant cover featuring the Hulk, and it is a 9.6. So I thought this was just a cool thing. I'm a big fan of the Red Hulk, and I also like the Gray Hulk. I think it's Joe Cool. There's actually a Wolverine cover Wolverine book that I want to get. I want to say it's Wolverine 8 or 9, featuring on the cover Wolverine and Hulk in like tuxedos. I want to get that issue. I don't think it's worth anything, but I just really like that issue. So here is a repeat book, New Mutants 87, 8.0. Now this book is one that I picked up from the guy that owned the Punisher. So he had a Punisher #1, he had this one, and I was able to snag this one from him. And this is an 8.0, again, first appearance of Cable, and white pages, of course. I think I have 2 copies of this one in here. The other I think is better. This is Avengers 144. It's when Patsy Walker becomes Hellcat, and this is a 7.0 off-white to white pages. I actually got this one in a really large auction of Avengers books, and I believe that I have 2 copies of this in here. I think I have a 7, and the other is higher. So here's definitely a popular book, what I think just about everyone. I don't know if you can tell what it is from the back side of it. Probably not. It's a pretty standard cover, I think, for books around this time. It is New Mutants #98. It is the first appearance of Deadpool, 9.4 white pages. It's got Domino down here. But this is a pretty hot book, as everyone knows. But I've had this book as well since I was a kid. I think I remember getting that one off the shelf. That one's been in my possession for a very, very long time. Another repeat book here, Avengers 144. This one's an 8. Last one was a 7. Here's an 8.0. The 7 actually has like a color breaking scuff at the top. I may actually sell the 7 and keep the 8. It's a pretty cool cover. I really like this cover. This is Venom #1, the origin and first appearance of the new Venom. 9.4. Bought this one from my local comic shop. Paid a decent amount of money for it, but it's a pretty cool cover. See the back of it, and I wanted to say, yep, we got a couple of things down here, and I don't know if you, but yeah, right there in that corner. But other than that, the back cover is pretty darn clean. Pretty nice book. I wish I'd seen that when I purchased it, because I think he actually had 2 copies when I picked that one up, and I selected that one because I thought it was the better of the 2. New Mutants 26, first full appearance of Legion, and also a multiple man appearance. Pretty cool cover. Very much reflecting Legion with this chaotic cover, right? This chaotic mind, chaotic cover, 8.0. Wish I'd seen that. Look at that. Couple of stains right on the back of that thing. Supposedly I inspected these before I sent them in. Maybe not. All right. Next up, we have X-Men 121, first full appearance of Alpha Flight, and got a 9.0. Really nice book. I am a fan of Alpha Flight. I think because I like Puck. I think Puck's cool. Maybe because he reminds me of a little Wolverine. Maybe that's why I like Puck. All right, so next up is Spectacular Spider-Man 64, origin and first appearance of Cloak and Dagger. 8.0. Gnat flying around here. 8.0. Really nice book. White pages as well. I'm curious, are you guys like really obsessed about the page color thing? I was selling a book on eBay today and the guy sent me a long list of questions for a book. Book was like $10. I'm like, I'm not answering all your questions, but for $10. But one of the things he wanted to know was, you know, what color were the pages? And he's like, I'm a big fan of white pages. I don't know if I have a preference when it comes to page color. I mean, of course you want white, but I don't know that I would not buy a book because the pages weren't white. I don't know. X-Men number 129. Next up, this is first appearance of Kitty Pryde. 7.5. This is again one of those books that has literally been in my collection since I was a kid. I've had this book for a very, very long time. Didn't honestly know the significance of it. I actually don't even think I remember the story behind this one, so I may have to go back and read that as a digital copy. Next up, X-23 number 1, 9.2. Really nice white cover. I like that book. Okay. It's a good thing that these CGC cases or slabs have the interlocking mechanism, because I have a huge stack next to this iPad. All right, next up is X Factor number 24, origin and first appearance of Archangel, and it is a 9.4. I think I've said this before in previous videos. I was not a fan of Angel, but I am a fan of Archangel, which is why I went after and made sure that I got this book, because I like his character. I like his ability to shoot those feathers. I think that's really, really cool. This is another one of the books that I got from a guy locally here. Again, now you kind of know why he can't sell his collection, because I took just about all the good stuff. All right, next up is Silver Surfer Volume 3, number 44. This is a Jim Starlin story. He's actually going to be at a local con here in Oakland. I think it's the San Francisco con, but it's actually being held in Oakland in June. I'm actually going to try to go meet him and see if I can get him to sign my Iron Man 55. This is the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet. And so this is, direct edition as well. Direct editions include, or maybe this isn't the direct edition, 9.4. Really cool cover. Thanos, Drax the Destroyer, and the Silver Surfer. White pages. And the last book is Uncanny X-Men. This is a big book, I think. Big book. Uncanny X-Men 266. It is the first full appearance of Gambit, Chris Claremont story, and it is a 9.0. Somebody recently on Instagram actually had this book, a couple of them for sale, where they had a remark that was done down here of Gambit's head. They were really, really well done, and I was super tempted to buy one because I just thought that remark was cool. And maybe I'll try to see if I can find one day. But it was a really cool. The guy had actually, I think, 3 of them, each one with increasingly larger remarks in a box. But they were really, really well done. So again, that is all 25 books, and super happy to have all of these books back in my possession. It was a big deal for me to actually mail these books off to CGC, to have them be pressed and cleaned and graded and all that kind of stuff. I think I'm getting more and more comfortable with the process of letting my books leave my possession to go out and do what they need to do in the world and then come back to me. So I'm actually debating my next CGC submission. I'm debating whether I want to, in June, after I get ASM 129 and Iron Man 55 signed, I'm debating if I wait and do a submission after those two books get submitted. I mean, I guess those books would go away, so I wouldn't be able to submit them. But what I'm debating is, do I do a submission of really just like modern books? Because I have a lot of the Thanos books and also the Red Goblin books, along with some other kind of more modern books that I've picked up as of late that I might want to send in. And then I have some other books like Giant Size X-Men that's in an old case that I want to have pressed clean, regraded, and then re-encapsulated. And there's more books along that Giant Size X-Men type that I'm thinking about sending in. So I'm trying to debate what I want to do. I don't know, I just need to continue thinking about it and just kind of decide and then pull the trigger. And I'm actually thinking about trying to do 25 books, so I have a full invoice to send in. Versus 5 books here and there. I just kind of a fan of bundling everything up at once and kind of sending everything off and knowing that it's okay. Helicopter going overhead. So anyway, thank you guys if you made it this far. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you enjoyed all of these CGC slabs that I was able to show you guys today. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. If you've been making comments and sending me messages and things like that, I want to say thank you for that. And I will talk to you guys soon.